Welcome, Anime Lily fans and My Hero Academia fans. We're here for another review of Chapter 283-75. And as always, ask myself, LegendDVash with my boy JBXclusive. And down below, SamTheMangaMan, the king of manga, the reading of all. And we're here to do another review of Chapter 283. And as you see, our boy co-host Kim Games did not get to join us for this weekend. But don't forget, next weekend is no chapter is on break, so take tuned for chapter 284 on the September 18th Friday is what Sam just found out behind the scenes. It's that Friday of that chapter, so maybe stay tuned for a Friday review on that day. But James, as always, is you and Ray, but since he's not here, go first of your first impression of this chapter. What stood out for you? Because you read the leaks.
I mean, I saw like 3 panels from the leaks, but
Yeah.
I thought this chapter was cool. It was a nice catch-up
Mhm.
chapter. It was like, oh, where's the rest of Class 1A? Where is Tokiyami? Where is Hawks? Where is Mirko? What's going on with the doctor? So this was just a lot of panels of just like getting everyone caught up to where everyone is, because we're obviously coming to some type of climax for this
Agree.
battle, right? So, but the biggest thing to take away is right at the very end, but I want to talk about it with all you guys. But yeah, I
Mhm.
thought this was a cool chapter. It was nice to catch up with everyone, and shout out to my boy Majestic.
Right?
That is true.
Did save
Majestic gave it.
the entire class, UA class students, and he already knew he was gonna die anyway. But that's what Pro Heroes does: save the kids because they are the future.
Well, we also gotta give props to our boy Man Eater. I think that was his hero name, right? The hero in training with Fat Gum, right? Is Man Eater? I think that's his
Yeah,
hero
yeah,
name.
yeah, yeah.
Sun Eater,
Sun Eater.
Sun Eater,
Sun Eater. See, I was close. I was close
Man
with the
Eater.
eater
That's like
part.
wait. Who?
No,
Was it
like it
hero
did
named
sound
Man
wrong in my
Eater?
head. It sounded wrong. Like, wait, that can't be. But I was close. I know somebody's gonna correct me. So we had the class 1A, class 1B asking stuff like, did we do what we did is correct? Because now a lot of the towns and cities got damaged through the way of Gigamakia's way. But then a lot of the heroes also got hurt, maybe killed as well. Because we saw Fago, we saw Majestic, we saw Sun Eater, and the way Gigamakia, his hand, those claws behind him and everything, how like I thought first was quirk evolution, but
No,
Sam said, "Hey, maybe that's just his quirk itself because we
there's
never seen it
multiple
actually
quirks that's
used."
got into the doctor put into Gigamakia, and he just confirmed like all these other Nomus, they were just copies of what Gigamakia is
That's
because
up.
Yeah,
he
I was
needs
gonna
an
lead into
army.
that. Nice, Sam. Yep.
So
yeah.
like it's like yep, it finally confirms that Gigamagia has a lot of quirks that we don't even know about, and he's like a whole rampaging machine. And I'm kind of glad where they're not showing how much more destruction Gigamagia is towards the other towns, mainly because you're gonna have to give the readers idea like, so is Deku's mom okay? Is
She's
like
fine.
we don't
She's
know.
fine.
That's true. We don't know. That's not confirmed. But also, we
We don't
know
know.
we find out that technically Gigamaki is the OG Nomu. He's technically the
Yeah.
original Nomu made by the Doctor himself. So that is James. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I love this because I don't think we've ever actually seen Makia actually go plus ultra or use any more of like his base quirk, right? So I thought that was really cool. It makes sense that it wouldn't be this easy to take down Makia. So I really really like this. I love that the doctor mentioned that Makia is pretty much the base for creating Nomu. I thought that was really interesting because of how powerful he is. It makes sense that his base DNA would be the core of creating these all powerful Nomu. So that was really really
So
cool.
so I'm questioning now. So now we could kind of confirm in the past that Gigamakia never fought with All Might in the past, because if he did, All Might would have had an idea and clue of when he fought the Nomus, like the first time in around.
Yeah, I think
Since
All for
right,
One definitely kept him hidden
Hit it
very
very
hidden,
well.
well.
really hidden.
But so now I have the question for you guys before we move on to the next topic. Is that so? The class 1A, class 1B acts. Did they this whole nightmare? Did we just make it all worse? So the question is that I love how this topic is brought up and they ask themselves this question, because if you guys have seen any DC comics, any Marvel comics, all the heroes is just try to save the humans and plus the civilians and everything. But sometimes the city or the town or the world gets damaged or hurt in the process. But sometimes they always question themselves, did we make it worse or did we actually do some good in the process? So I gotta ask you guys, do you feel like this is a good way and good direction where technically this is going for the heroes asking themselves if what we're doing is right correctly?
So I thought they did nothing wrong. They did the best they could because they were assuming everybody assumed an assumption that maybe this is enough to take down Gigamakia, and even though they were able to accomplish it, and their chance of being able to do their goal, throw the serum onto Gigamakia and make him go to sleep, they thought that was enough. They just didn't know the extension of how strong Gigamakia really is. We just know that he's a really big fella who's super strong and running through like a bulldozer. They just thought that was it, and that's what they all thought. But then when they next then the next time they find out, he's just a more ultimate. The first, he's patient zero of Nomu. Basically, he's patient zero. So he actually has the OP-ness of all the other quirks that we haven't seen before. Because we've seen a mechanical arm that's on Gigamakia, and another arm that's like almost like a dragon form. Like because his
I
claw
s-
looks like Freddy Krueger or something like
okay,
that.
I see the claw. I don't see the mechanical aspect you're talking about, but I
It
see
looks
the.
it looked kind of mechanical to me, like the Freddy Krueger kind of glove thing that got onto him or something like that.
It's just probably
Yeah,
the
I
claw,
mean,
the bone
yeah,
structure.
I
It
don't
could be
see
any
it.
of those. But James, what do you think about what I asked for?
What was the question again?
About the heroes saying that of what they're doing as heroes, but they're
They
also
did the right
constantly,
thing,
Right,
basically.
right.
Like
but they're also constant destruction on the way where they fail and still got towns and cities destroyed on the way.
I mean, it is what it is. There's always going to be collateral damage in war. There is no way to absolutely save everyone. There's absolutely no way possible to stop any damage from happening. So, I mean, of course, they did nothing wrong. They're giving their lives, they're giving their bodies to try to save people. Now, of course, there's going to be people who are just looking at this on the news that's going to say, well, what's the point of having these pro heroes and this hero association if they can't help everyone? Because there's always ignorant, stupid people that don't actually understand how the world works. But it just is what it is. Like, they're not doing anything wrong. They're literally giving their lives to save people. There's nothing more that they can do. They're doing everything that they can. So it is what
right,
it is.
and that's part of the whole hero society saturated within this world, and that's usually it's what they're being blamed. That's what Shigaraki really hates for in
I
this
was
kind
just
of
about to
world.
say that it is exactly what he said in page 9 of what the doctor said. Our boy Shiraki will bring your hero saturated society crumbling down, and that's what the doctor was screaming. And I'm seeing Mike Master seeing all those police officers just seeing their faces, what it is that he's screaming, and my boy Shiraki looking like Jesus, but in the most villainous way that he's doing it. So it's just really trembling at how it's going far for the hero so far. And then we get to the nice continuing fight between our boy Deku giving the old Shoto helping out his father. Hey dad, here's some ice. You could cool off. Let's help with that. And also help some comfort and take cover. And Bakugo getting mad because he keeps dipping with Deku and everything. How do you guys think about that?
I think it's smart because we still need Endeavor in this fight regardless, and we thought that his last move on Shigaraki was really his last one, but all it really did is that Endeavor needs to cool down a lot in order for him to keep moving and fighting again, and Shoto was in a perfect spot by trying to cool his father down as much as he can because we need him in this fight, even though this one-on-one fight is what's gonna happen, but at least they have a better advantage than they did before when Aizawa was still awake and was stopping Shigaraki's quirks down a lot. But at least this time it's more better in even field for Deku and Shigaraki.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Shigaraki, I mean, he's starting to burn out, right? Like,
Yeah,
his body is literally tearing itself apart, and his hyper regeneration can barely keep up. So this fight is going to come to an end really, really soon. There was one thing that I wanted to mention about Makia. Like, I just think he's running on straight up adrenaline and just fighting through everything. I think the serum will eventually catch up with him. But for right now, like, he's just going straight up on adrenaline. But this fight between Shigaraki and Deku is going to be interesting. Like we talked about behind the scenes, he's using three quirks at once right now. Like
hmm
he's using float, he's using black whip, and he's using
one for all.
one for all his full cowling. So it's like this is all really really cool how this is all coming together, and I'm just excited for a 284, man. Like this was for me, this chapter was just set up for 284, and I just want to get there.
I agree, and it shows also that this is actually coming to fruition where Shigaraki is, where his body is at his limit as well, and it shows that flashback in page 13, where when Deku first used his powers, his thumb, his fingers, his arm, his leg busted, and everything, all the flashback in that panel, showing what happened to Shigaraki, and it shows that chapter 75. That's why it's sorry. Chapter 23 is called 75 because it showed that he was never fully completed. Technically, my boy Shigaraki was not supposed to have any limiters, but sadly, since it never got completed, he has a limit where his body is not used to using this full of all for one. And that's what he's getting some backlash and his body's not used to. And that's
Yeah.
when he realized it that before he touches to the ground and decay again, boom, float. That was awesome.
It's a really good parallel because Deku's body wasn't ready for One for All either. He was also incomplete. So it's cool to see that All for One's successor is also incomplete and also has to fight through like the pain of the body not being at 100% of what it needs to be to handle this power. So that's cool.
But it's very impressive for his first day as All for One, though, and his quirks and his powers and everything. Right now, it's like a better even field for Deku and Shigaraki to fight against each
Oh
other.
yeah, for sure. But
But
but,
yeah,
but
definitely, I love the arts in this. Every panel from this chapter was amazing. The front closure of Deku, Shigaraki's body being torn apart because he went too much of his limit and is literally the strain. His body is technically tearing and recovering at the same time, actually, with both his limits of all for one, and his hyper regeneration activating both at the same time. Deku definitely is in his most emotional state to help him unlock his other quirk for One for All, which I do like this name. Like right now, he just literally calls it One for All, seventh user, float, which means it gives up the other names of like One for All, sixth user, and then like whichever. I think sixth user was Black Whip, fifth user.
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was like five or six was Black Whip,
Yeah.
and then I guess there's other five more. Now is five more quirks, and he's gonna be One for All, the first user, second user, third user, so on and so
So
forth.
So I have a question about this. Since you're talking about each quirk is using the three quirks and everything, so we have Rocklock, Shoto, Endeavor, and we have Eraser and everything. Seeing that our boy Deku's using three quirks that are not his original one, so technically our boy Gran Torino and Baku are not the only ones that's gonna know that he has the All for One. So by the end of this arc, people should have an idea like this is not
Well,
normal. My dudes
well, why
have
though?
three different quirks.
Well, I mean,
It's
technically, most of the pro
that's just
heroes.
quirk evolution. No
Yeah,
one
that's
knows
quirk
that
evolution.
One for
But
All exists.
but that's what people might like I hope people like I'm not saying I want people to find out, but at least one or two of them should at least question it or probably
But
They're in
why
a
endeavor the
though?
most.
situation right now. They're in a desperate state in a situation where they can't really question it much
Yeah,
anymore.
they probably not paying
There's
attention.
nothing to question.
I would say it gives them hope. Honestly, it's like
Deku's not the first person to have more than one quirk. Like
exactly.
there's nothing to question. Like he has more than one quirk. That's it. There's no one knows that One for All exists. There's no way that people could just speculate based on just that he has One for All when other people in the world have multiple quirks. Like
Yeah, like
That's true. Alright.
I never knew about Black Whip in the first place because Deku was training. He was training to use his Black Whip quirk with him during the internship arc with Endeavor and everybody. This is just the first time we've ever seen Float in action, and for him to even use, he might not master it, but he's doing a pretty good job right now. Where he has to take every advantage to fight Shigaraki in the sky, which is very smart. If he's not touching anything, he can't decay anything. Fight him in the air.
Bro,
That's
but I wonder how long that's gonna go. Like, how long can he last that fight? For him to use his flow for the first time and knowing that he has to finish it probably in one or two, three shots at most. So that's also and also using one arm for Black Whip to hold those other six other people, eight other people with you. That's a lot of adrenaline, enhance, power, motivation. That's a lot of hustle doing it all at once, and also trying to take out Shiraki. Like that's a lot of things going in your mind. A lot of things that your mind has to concentrate at the same time. That's a lot of
yeah,
things to process.
right.
and
We know
instinct too.
instinct as well. Like Deku hasn't really used everything yet in his full arsenal, if you think about it. Because last time we only used to see him really use 100% was the Wyoming smash onto Shigaraki, and him just running around with Bakugo in full cowl mode. He's still
Yeah, but
pretty good.
but now it's technically flow at the same time. Black Whip holding everybody, and now he's gonna use
It's
the
most likely draining him
oh
a lot.
yeah.
He's probably being drained. but still a pretty good matchup with Shigaraki in this level is what I'm trying to say. But for real, it's amazing. Black Whip definitely looks like he's at least got a good 60%
And with it,
master.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, he's
control.
been training for months,
60%.
so
And float just started up from 0 to 10. This is would you say this is like 10% now? Because he's floating everybody with him with the Black Whip.
And plus, that panel's amazing too. That
Unless that's
panel,
unless that's one for all strength with him to carry everybody up.
it's hard to say. We don't know the full.
I mean,
The
I
full
would just say
power flow.
basic physics. Like, I mean, he's super strong. He jumped into the air. He's also using Black Whip to hold him, and he has the ability to float. So I think it's pretty simple how he's able to do it.
Yeah,
But as
it's
far
part of
as
domino effect.
using, yeah, as far as using all three quirks at the same time, I mean, he's running pretty much based on instinct right now. He's already mastered full cowling. He's already been training to use Black Whip.
Black Whip.
This additional quirk, he just has to find a new way to visualize. And I think mastering float will be super easy because for me, him mastering float is being able to use float with his other quirks in a bunch of different ways to fight. So that's the way I think he'll master it. But I think he'll be able to use float pretty easily from now on.
But
I
this,
agree.
you also think about it, this is the first time we ever see a hero using 3 quirks at once. Like existence, I think this is the only time we've ever seen someone using 3 quirks at once, like if without having anybody knowing about one for all and like
Again,
all for
I
ones
hope
multiple
somebody
quirks.
asks questions. I hope somebody asks questions at the end of
Why?
this time. I'm just
Shoto Shoto has 2 quirks. So because someone else has one more quirk than someone else, then we should ask a bunch of questions. That
Yeah,
doesn't make sense
that
to me.
doesn't make
yeah,
any
but
The
sense.
his parents don't
Nomu,
have this. Yeah, but the parents don't have Black Whip
they
or
know
Flow.
nothing
So
about his father. They know nothing
So
about Deku's
I don't want to go
father.
too into like quirk evolution, but I think it's kind of obvious if you're gonna be in a near death experience, your quirk's gonna evolve into helping you to
Exactly. There's no need for a bunch of questions. He has
survive.
one more quirk than
Quirk
Shoto.
evolution
Oh
is to
my
help you
god.
survive the challenge that's in front of you. So, and this is what's happening with Deku. Everybody kind of lost hope because Aizawa is down. Rock Lock telling Deku saying like, "Yo, run! He's really after you. Just run. Just leave us. Just let us like protect you or try to kill some time." Deku's like, "No, I'm not doing it." Over emotion just gave him his quirk evolution to unlock float, and
True.
right now he's
Exactly.
using this. He's using this to fight.
And
He's full on
literally
evolutionary junkie.
everyone knows that quirk evolution exists. So the answer is, oh, in this stressful situation, he had a quirk evolution. That's the answer.
Which, by the way, guys, read Vigilantes. It also dives into a lot of Quirk evolution. Read Vigilantes for that. But anybody, more thoughts, more theories, or more discussion that we have to talk about, or let's end the show.
I think I'm good.
So I am very excited for when all of this is done for the conversation that All Might, Deku, and Endeavor are going to have about One for All. Because Endeavor is not dumb. He heard the term One for All.
Oh yeah,
He's
he definitely heard it.
seen that Deku has the same strength as All Might. He's activating these other quirks that belong to other pro heroes. So Endeavor is going to have questions, and then they'll have to let Endeavor know. But everyone else, like it just doesn't make sense that they
No,
would
no,
ask
but
questions or anything like that for me.
that's what I'm agreeing with. Like, I hope at least one of these people that saw him, like that's what I'm hoping for. At least Endeavor or Shoto, at least one of them to at least notice and ask this question. And my main hope was Endeavor. I didn't think Oma would be in the conversation, but that makes sense if he is still
It would,
alive by the end
yeah.
of the because who knows what happens. But that's
All Might
definitely
is
Endeavor.
Eri right now, so it's most likely he's watching the news, he's seeing what's going on and happening, and we're just hoping, God forbid, Gigamaki is not heading to UA where All Might and Eri is. This is what we're kind
Well,
of hoping for.
that's a whole different conversation that Hori needs to show us and show more scenes of what could happen with these characters. But we're all good then?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just excited for 284 because I just want to see the actual fight and how he's going to use all these quirks at the
Flow.
same time. And yeah, man, just give me 284.
dude, I'm thinking like those paddleball be like just have the black light swing and boom, boom,
That would be
boom.
so dope.
He's so
Just
down.
take it back and forth. That would be dope as hell, Sam. So, guys, let us know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. Like the video as well. Subscribe and press the bell notification every time I upload videos. Don't forget everywhere to follow us: Twitch, Patreon, Twitter, IG, wherever it is for the team as well. For careful spoilers and everything else is down below in the description for everything else. Other than that, guys, see you guys next time.
Peace.